Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain about the estimation and optimization of switching activity. Okay, so here what is switching activity? Switching activity is nothing but whenever the output is changing from logic 1 to logic 0 or logic 0 to logic 1, then we call that one as switching activity here. So we have discussed methods of minimizing dynamic power consumption in CMOS digital integrated circuit by supply voltage scaling. Okay, we have seen about different methods to reduce this supply voltage to reduce dynamic power consumption. Another approach to low power design is to reduce the switching activity and the amount of the switched capacitance to minimum level required to perform the given task. Okay, so this is another method what we are considering to design a low power circuit, a low power CMOS circuit. Okay, so here what is first we'll see what is the concept of switching activity. So here the dynamic power consumption of a CMOS logic gate depends on the node transition factor. Okay, so we have considered in the derivation of dynamic power consumption or the equation of power consumption. So there we have used alpha T. Okay, so dynamic power consumption P, average dynamic power consumption P is equal to alpha T VDD squared, alpha T VDD squared, and clock frequency. Okay, and we have used the multiplication of C total or the total capacitance. So this is the equation what we have seen in the previous discussion. We have studied about the what is the effect of this supply voltage if you do the scaling, or if you cannot do the scaling, what is the effect of this supply voltage on the dynamic power consumption, and at the same time what are the different reduction methods to reduce that dynamic power consumption with effect of voltage scaling. Okay, so we have seen that in the previous discussions. Now we will go with the what is switching activity, right? So here this alpha T will represent in this dynamic power consumption equation. Alpha T will represent the concept of switching activity. Okay, so that is nothing but the node transition factor we will generally consider, right? So here we'll see the concept of switching activity. The dynamic power consumption of a CMOS logic gate depends on the node transition factor alpha T, which is the effective number of power consuming voltage transitions experienced by the output capacitor per clock cycle. So what is that means here? We have the output capacitance. So at that output capacitance, so whatever the nodes that are changing their values or the variables here, that can be considered effective number of power consuming voltage transitions. Okay, there will be a more amount of transitions will be more number of transitions will be taking place, but here alpha T is nothing but the effective number of power consuming voltage transitions at the output of the output capacitance. First cycle we will consider as the node transition factor. Okay, so that's what here alpha T. So this parameter alpha T also called as switching activity factor. Why it is called as switching activity factor means, so here the node transition is nothing but taking place is nothing but the node values will be changed from logic 0 to logic 1. They are switching from logic 0 to logic 1 or logic 1 to logic 0. That's why it is called as switching activity factor or node transition factor. Okay, so this parameter alpha T is also called the switching activity factor, depends on the Boolean functions performed by the gate and the logic families and the input signal statistics, right? So alpha T is depends on all these things. That is nothing but Boolean functions performed by the gate and the logic family and the input signals statistics, right? We can easily investigate the output transition probabilities for different types of logic gates. Okay, we can easily investigate the output transition probabilities for different types of logic gates. First, we will introduce two signal probabilities, that is P0 and P1. Okay, so here I will consider that P0 corresponds to the probability of having logic 0 at the output, and P1, what is the probability? That is the total probability is nothing but 1. If you know the output, here we have only two values that will be possible to obtain at the output side, that is logic 1 and logic 0. Okay, so if you consider logic 0 probability is 1, okay, or the P naught, then what is the logic 1 probability? Logic 1 probability is equal to 1 minus P naught. Okay, so we all know that the basics of probability, so that what we are going to use here. So now here I am introducing two signal probabilities, that is P naught and P1. So P naught I will consider as the probability to obtain a logic 0 at the output of the circuit, and P1 is nothing but to obtain the output as logic 1. Okay, so then if I consider logic P naught is the logic 0 probability, then 1 minus P naught is nothing but the logic 1 probability. Okay, that's what here we have. P naught corresponds to the probability of having a logic 0 at the output, and P1 is equal to 1 minus P naught corresponds to the probability of having logic 1 at the output. Okay, so this is about the logic 0 and logic 1 output probabilities, two signal probabilities, that is P naught and P1. Okay, so now we are going to use this P naught and P1 to explain the what is the total output power consumption probabilities. Okay, so here the transition is taking place. One, if you get logic 0 or logic 1, there will be a transition taking place. So what those transitions will causes the power consumption for us. So we will calculate the probability of power consuming signals or the power consuming probabilities. Here we will see that is nothing but the probability that a power consuming transition, that is 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, occurs at the output node is the product of these two output signal probabilities. So what are the probabilities we have introduced here is P0 and P1. Both are the probabilities for logic 0 to get at the output side, and at the same time logic 1 to get at the output side. So both the probabilities, that is P0 and P1 respectively. Okay, so if you want to calculate the probability that a power consuming transition is taking place, to calculate that probability at the output node, we will multiply both the signal probabilities P0 and P1. Okay, so that is what here the probability that a power consuming 0 to 1 transition occurs at the output node is the product of these two output signal probabilities. That's what we have considered here, that is P0 and P1 are the two output signal probabilities. And if you multiply those two output signal probabilities, you will get the probability of power consuming transition. Okay, so to get the power consuming transition at the output side, the probability, that is nothing but the product of the output signal probabilities, that is P0 and P1. Okay, so that is what how you can estimate the power consumption transitions or the switching activities that is taking place at the output side. Okay, so that's what here in our heading, that is estimation. And optimization of switching activity is nothing but we will see after this one, right? But here we have the estimation of switching activity, or the estimation of probability of power consuming transition at the output side, that is equal to the product of two output signal probabilities, right? So that is what here we have. Now we will consider one example to explain about this how to estimate the power consumption transitions that is taking place at the output node. Okay, so here I am going to take CMOS NOR to gate. Okay, whatever it may be, the NOR gate, we'll consider CMOS NOR gate. Okay, so here what is the truth table of that one? So if you consider here A is the input and A and B are the input. Suppose it is a two input and Y I will take it as the output, right? So these two are the inputs. A and B are the inputs of a NOR gate. Here what we have. Okay, we will consider the NOR gate here. A and B are the A and B we have, and this one is the output. So here, if it is the two input, we will get how many combinations? 4 combinations. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. 1 second. I will draw the table for NOR gate here. So I will consider the two inputs, that is A and B, A and here we have the B, and Y is the output, right? So that's what here also I am indicating in terms of the symbol, right? So this is the NOR gate, what we have here, right? So A is the input, and B is the output here, and Y is the B is the input, and again Y is the output. So here we will apply some inputs here. Two inputs means we will get the four combinations 0 0, 0 1, and 1 0, and 1 1. Okay. So out of this, here we have, if you apply 0 0 here, for OR gate you will get a 0. Okay, but it is NOR gate, so we will get the 1. Okay, for 0 1, if you apply for an OR gate, you will get the 0 1, and if it is NOR gate, so you will get the 0 here, and here also 0, and here also 0. So this is the truth table for the NOR gate, CMOS NOR gate. Okay, then what is the probability of getting this 1 is nothing but 1 by 4. Okay, that is P0 is equal, P1 is equal to 1 by 4. Because here 4 probabilities is there at the output side. Out of that, 1 will be obtained one time. So it is 1 by 4. And P0 is equal to the probability of appearing that logic 0 at the output is nothing but 3 by 4. Because here we have 3 times the logic 0. That's why we will consider as 3 by 4. So these are the probabilities P1 and P0 for a CMOS NOR gate, what we are considering. Okay. So here we have consider a static CMOS NOR gate. If the two inputs are independent and uniformly distributed, the four possible input combinations will be obtained. So here 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, and 1 1, and their corresponding outputs also have represented in this truth table, right, are equally likely to occur. Thus we can find from the truth table of the NOR gate that P0 is equal to 3 by 4. Why it is P0 is equal to 3 by 4? Because here we have 3 times this 0 will be obtained at the output of this CMOS NOR gate for the different inputs. That's why it is considered as P0 is equal to 3 by 4. And what about P1? P1 is equal to, it is 1 by 4. Okay, so here one time it is obtaining the logic 1, so it is 1 by 4, and here it is obtaining 3 times, so it is 3 by 4. So now what we have to consider is nothing but total power consumption, or the total probability of the power consuming transition we have to calculate. So what is the total probability of power consuming transition is nothing but the probability of output signals. What are the output signals probabilities here, P0 and P1? So suppose if I consider there is a transition taking place from 0 to 1. Okay, then how much probability I can calculate? Or 1 to 0, how much probability I have for the power consumption? So we will calculate that one by using above discussion, that is the product of the probability of the output signals will gives us the total probability of power consuming transition. Okay, so the probability that a power consuming transition occurs at the output node is therefore P0 to 1. The probability of transition that is taking from 0 to 1 is nothing but the product of the output probabilities. Output signal probabilities are nothing but P0 and P1. So therefore, it is 3 by 4 multiplied with 1 by 4. Okay, so it is what we have. The probability that power consuming transition occurs at the output node is nothing but the product of the output signal probabilities. Here the output signal probability is P0 and P1. So if you multiply those two, you will get the power consuming transition probability. Okay, the power consuming transition probability P01 is equal to P0 multiplied with P1. We got the P0 as 3 by 4 and P1 as 1 by 4. So the total probability of power consuming is nothing but it is 3 by 16. Okay, right? So this is what we have, the power consuming transition estimation or the calculation for the CMOS NOR gate. Okay, so the same calculations we can generalize here by considering the n inputs. Here only we have considered n is equal to 2. That is 2 inputs only we have considered. That's why it is called as NOR gate. NOR gate means this 2 will indicates as the number of inputs. Okay, so here the probability that the power consuming transition occurs at the output node is P01 is equal to 3 by 6 we got. But we can generalize this equation, okay, by considering that n inputs. In general case of a CMOS logic gate with n input variables, the probability of a power consuming output transition can be expressed as a function of n naught. Okay, so in the general case of a CMOS logic, I am taking that n input variables. Okay, if I consider n input variables, how many outputs you will get? Okay, for two variables, you will get 2 power 2, that is 4 outputs. For n variables means n input variables means you will get 2 power n. Okay, 2 power n outcomes are the outputs we will get. Okay, so we will extend this one. Outputs means here. If you consider the truth table previously, that is here we have the two input combinations. Okay, so two inputs means we will get the 4 input combinations. Similarly, if you consider the n inputs, it is 2 power n possibilities will be there. So that's why if you consider the n input variables, and the probability of power consuming output transitions can be expressed as a function of n naught. So what is n naught here? N naught is nothing but which is the number of zeros in the output column of the truth table. So if you consider the truth table of NOR gate here, we got how many zeros? 1, 0, 0, 0. 3 zeros we got. Okay, here n naught will represents out of this all the outputs that are obtained for n input NOR gate or n input logic gate. How many zeros will be there? That will be considered as n naught here. Okay, so here we'll have the equation, that is generalized equation we have is this one, right? In the general case of CMOS logic gate with n input variables, the probability of power consuming output transition can be expressed as a function of n naught. Here n naught is the number of zeros that is obtained at the output of or the output column, okay, on the truth table, right? So if you consider that one, the final equation or the generalized equation for CMOS logic gates is nothing but P01 is equal to P01 multiplied with P1, that is equal to n naught by 2 power n multiply with 2 power n by n naught 2 power n minus n naught by 2 power n. So this is the generalized equation how you can estimate the probability of power consuming transition. Okay, so here if I consider that two input NOR gate, how many we have here? How many zeros we will get? If I consider two input NOR gate, so this one is A, B inputs and Y is the outputs. So here it is 0, 0, we will get 1, and 0, 1, you will get 0, and 1, 0, you will get 0, and 1, 1 also we will get the 0. Right? How many zeros here we have is 3 zeros we have. Okay, here we have 3 zeros. So if you substitute n naught is equal to 3 and inputs are what? 2. Okay, so if it is n naught is equal to 3, so what you will get here? 3 by 2 power n is 2 power 2, that is 4, multiply with 2 power n minus n naught. 2 power n is nothing but 2 power 2, that is 4 minus n naught is what? Number of zeros that will be obtained. So that is nothing but 4 minus 3, that is 1 by 2 power 4, 2 power 2 is 1 by 4. So here it is 1, 4 minus 3, you will get 2 power 2 is nothing but what? 4, n naught is nothing but the number of zeros, 4 minus 3, that is 1 by 4. Okay, so you'll get 1 by 16. Like that, we can apply this equation generally for all the circuits or the logic gates, whatever we have. Okay, so this is the estimation of our probability of power consuming transition in generalized form if you consider the n inputs. Okay, so this is the equation we have. And here we have the state transition diagram and state transition probabilities of a NOR2 gate. Okay, so that is what here we have. From 0 to 1 transition, we have 3 by 16. From 1 to 0, we have 3 by 16. But at the same time, 1 to 1, it is 1 by 16, and it is for 0 to 0, it is 9 by 16. Okay, this is the probability, or transition probability, or the state transition diagram of CMOS NOR 2 gate. Okay, so this formula we can apply for any gate, any logic gate we can apply, right? So if you know the number of inputs and if you know the number of zeros at the output, so you can easily calculate what is the probability of power consuming transition. Okay, so now we'll go with the next one. Here the output of transition probability is shown as a function of the number of inputs in figure for the different types of logic gates for equal input probabilities. So if you consider a NAND or NOR gate, the truth table contains only zeros or ones. Okay, whatever the output of any gate that consists of zeros and ones. But if you consider this one, the truth table contains only zeros or ones respectively, regardless of the number of inputs. Therefore, the output transition probability drops as the number of inputs increases. How we can say that the output transition probability will decreases as the number of inputs increases. As the number of inputs increases, if you consider here, it is in the denominator we have 2 power n. Okay, as the n increases, okay, so it is 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, 2 power 5, like that. So the probability of power consumption will be reduced. Okay, so that's very important. Here, as we increases the number of inputs, as we increases the number of inputs, here that is equal to n, the probability of power consuming transition will be reduced because only one region here we have, that is nothing but if you increases that value, suppose previously it is what we are taking that n is equal to 2. Okay, n is equal to 2. Now I will consider n is equal to suppose some 4. N is equal to 4 if I consider. So what happened here? It is 1 by 2 power 4. Okay, so 2 power 4 means it is 16. 1 by 16 multiply with 1 by 16. Okay, so here the denominator value will be increasing, so automatically the resultant value will be decreases. Okay, that is what here we have the statement that whenever the number of inputs increases in the gate, okay, the number of inputs increases at the gate, so the total power consuming transitions probability will be decreases. Okay, so that's what the point here. For NAND or NOR gate, the truth table contains only 1, 0 or 1 respectively, regardless of the number of inputs. Therefore, the output transition probability drops as the number of inputs increased. Okay, so that is what here we have, and for this statement, therefore the output transition probability drops as the number of inputs increases. I have given the justification for that from this equation. Okay, by considering n is equal to 3, and previously it is considered n is equal to 2. We got 1 by 16, and but for n is equal to 4, we will get more number, that is 1 by 16 into 16. Right, like that here, as we increases the number of inputs, automatically the probability of power consuming transitions will be reduced. Okay, in XOR gate, on the other hand, the truth table always contains an equal number of logic zeros and logic 1 values, so the output transition probability therefore remains constant. Okay, that is 0.25. Whatever the transition that is taking place in XOR gate, that is whatever the inputs you are taking, so the logic 0 and logic 1 obtained at the output side will be equal number. Okay, so because of that, whatever the input you considered for an XOR gate, you will get the probability of power consuming transition is 0.25. Okay, so that is one point. In multi-level logic circuits, the distribution of input signal probabilities is typically not uniform. Okay, in multi-level logic circuit, the distribution of input signal probability is typically not uniform. That is, one cannot expect to have equal probabilities for occurrence of logic 0 and a logic 1. Then the output transition probabilities becomes a function of the input probability distributions. Okay, so here in multi-level logic circuits, the distribution of input signal probability is typically not uniform. So at that point, how you can calculate the probability of transition, power consuming transition, and we can say that that is depends on the input signal probabilities also. One cannot expect to have equal probabilities for the occurrence of logic 0 and logic 1. Then the output transition probability becomes a function of the input probability distributions. Okay, so that's what the point. Now, the NOR 2 gate examined above, let us consider P1A represents the probability of having a logic 1 at the input A, and P1B represents the probability of having a logic 1 at the input B. Then the probability of obtaining a logic 1 at the output node is, we can write that equation as P1 is equal to 1 minus P1A multiplied with 1 minus P1B. So what is this means for this above statement? The justification is here we have, for the NOR 2 gate examined, let P1A represents the probability of having logic 1 at the input side. So I have considered the two inputs A and B. So that is nothing but here P1A is nothing but at the node A or at the point A, what is the input that is obtained? If you consider logic 1 is the input at point A, okay, at the input point A, then that probability I will consider as P1A. And at the same time, another input is there, that is nothing but B. At that input also, you will get the logic 1. Then its probability is, we will consider as P1B. So if you consider this one, this NOR gate here, second. If you consider the NOR gate here, I am taking that here we have A and B. Okay, and we have Y, that is the output. If A is logic 1, here 1 I am applying at A and B. So the probability of obtaining A at the input side, A input is 1 and B input is 1, I will take it as P1A, represents the probability of having a logic 1 at the input A, and P1B represents the probability of having a logic 1 at the input B. The probability of obtaining a logic 1 at the output node. If you consider, or if you know the probabilities of the inputs A and B here, that is for logic 1, then you can easily calculate the output node probability. Okay, so the output node probability P1 is equal to that is 1 minus P1A multiply with 1 minus P1B. So this is the equation what we have for to get the logic 1 whenever the input probability to obtain the logic 1 at A is P1A, and at B logic 1 is P1B. Then if you know the two probabilities, you can easily calculate the output node probability, that is to get the logic 1. So that is what here P1 is equal to 1 minus P1A multiply with 1 minus P1B. Okay, so we'll apply this equation for the next calculation. Here we have, right? So using this expression, the probability of a power consuming output transition is found as a function of P1A and P1B. So we know that the probability of obtaining a power consuming transition is nothing but P01, that is nothing but multiply with P0 multiply with P1. Okay, that is output signal probability transitions, that is P0 and P1. Okay, so now we know that for P0 and P1 we got the equations, that is for P1 to obtain, for the, if you know the input values or input probability values, you can easily calculate the logic 1 output and logic 0 output. Okay, so that's why the same equation, this equation I am going to use here. So therefore P0 into P1 is equal to, P0 is nothing but what, 1 minus P1. Why I am taking this one is 1 minus P1? Because the total probability is equal to 1. So if you know the probability of logic 1, you can easily calculate the probability of logic 0. So here I know the probability of logic 1 P1 I will take, and probability of logic 0 is nothing but 1 minus P1. Why I have considered, or why I have converted this equation completely into P1? Because I know the probability of obtaining logic 1 at the output side in terms of the input probabilities. Okay, the input probabilities that to obtained as a logic 1 at A and B. Okay, so I know this value, that's why I am converting this equation as P0 and P1. So P0 is equal to what, 1 minus P1. But P1 is what here, 1 minus P1A multiply with 1 minus P1B. So therefore, I will substitute those two P1 values in these two equations, in these two terms. That is 1 minus P1, 1 minus, what is P1 here? 1 minus P1A multiply with 1 minus P1B. So that is 1 minus P1A multiplied with 1 minus P1B. And as it is, this P1 is, we will write as 1 minus P1A multiply with 1 minus P1B. So this is the how you can estimate the total probability of power consuming transition in terms of the input probabilities. Okay, input probabilities. So this is the example what we considered for only logic 1 consideration. Okay, you can also consider for logic 0 consideration. So if you consider that P1A is the P0A is the probability of input at A, and P0B is the probability of input at B, then you can easily calculate the output probability of obtaining logic 0 at the output side. Okay. So we can easily calculate if you know the probability of obtaining 0 input at A and the probability of obtaining 1 input at B or 0 input at B. Okay, so in the similar manner you can calculate. So here we have considered P1 so that in terms of whenever the logic 1 is obtained at A and logic 1 is obtained at B, if you know the probability of them, you can calculate the probability of obtaining a 1 at the output side. The same values I am going to use here. Okay, so this is about how you can estimate our switching activity, right? Or we can also call it as how you can calculate the probability of power consuming transition. Okay, so in the next class we will see about how we can reduce the switching activity. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel.